bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. Short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. Short bus Saturday.
What's cracking, everybody? What's happening? Can you hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, man. I just want to make sure y'all can hear your boy, man. It's cracking, man. Of course, you know, man, I'm GG, man. You tune in to the Green Gorilla channel, man. A place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chases. Before I get things started like I always do, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel, man. Shout out to AKs and Curtains, Darren Anderson, Black's Word 404, Jazz Tech, Black Soul King, Mackenzie Mayweather, Hostile Adept, Mrs. KP Bailey, Dr. Chiasan Johnson, and Michael Ross. Big up, man. Big up to Rais Moaji, Kalon Jakala, David White, Volcanus, Sherlin Woe, Salty Balls, Anthony Allen, Path Guy 74, Seventh Coast Dojo, Artisan MC, and Psychology Sorcery. Big up. Big up to Roderick Jackson, Yisrael Malachi, Danielle, Damian H., Charles Rogers, Devon Loveridge, Dub Wild, Red Falls Black, Intuit, Binga, and Gerard Shelton. Big up, man. Big up to Zanko 1, Cornelius Bellamy, Michael Johnston, Wild Bear 50, Sun Ra 44, Barnolas, BGS Ibmore, Lock Vegas, Passport OG, Rashid Barnes, and Leon. What's cracking, man? Mr. Good Dad, Third Coast X, 63rd Samurai, Ismail Shamar, The Watcher, Kill the Gang, Dr. Thunder, Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, and Silent Warrior. Big up. Naomi Gary, The Black Toxic Masculinist, Seek Truth, Larry R, Seth Sun 7, Afro Truth TV, Show Me, Spain Man, I'm Just Jules, Ricky Dawson, and Truth 7360. Big up, man. Mr. Me Too, Call for President, The Builder's Table, H-Town, Adrian Thomas, Pete Rock 496, Aaron P, Vince Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard ADOS, and Troy Warren, man. Big up. Alan Wiley, The Face, AI Apostle, Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Dr. Treat 33, 77, Base X, Brian McMurray, and Karen S, man. Big up, man. Charles Gilmore, Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Doc LaRock, Mark Swift, Coach DC, Mr. Blue Collar, TD Media Group, Drew Main, and Mr. Heat, man. Big up. Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, DHA Double, and WPR 1, man. Big up to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to all the people, man. Shout out to all the people who support me on Patreon, man. Real talk, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to Yaman Peters, Myron Johnson, Mark Holt, James Willis, Tino Taylor, Derek Robinson, Jeff R., Will Jones, Audrey Harris, Ilyas, Sleeping Olmex, Dr. Tiasan Johnson again, man. Big up. Chittibim Amari, Frank Black, Robert Ricks, Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby the Dustling. the Dustling, man. J Live, Keith Bass, Nick, Judah Arenda, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, Waffleweed, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Momal, and Asangwa. I can't forget the brethren, David Carroll, man, Force Windu, and Kevin Samuels, man. Big up to all y'all, man. As always, man, you deserve a round of applause. Appreciate you so much for supporting me, man, even in my absence. You want to become a member of the Green Gorilla channel, man? Here's how you do it. We'll be back. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we back, man. I'm GG. You tuned into the Green Gorilla channel. I brought my boy along, man. BGS was cracking.
What's up, Doc?
What's happening with you, bro?
What's going on, man? It's nothing much out here in 70 degrees out here, man. So we all right.
Man, it's dipping. The temperature is dipping as we speak, man. It's about to get to 30 degrees out here in this bitch, man. Ooh. God damn. Ooh. 30 degrees, man. Shout out to David White, man. Appreciate your donation, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate that. Man, the temperature is about to drop, man. And it's cool, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this probably will be the last deep-seated cold front that we get, hopefully. You know, but ain't no guarantee in St. Louis, man. You don't never know what the fuck gonna happen, man.
I heard about the Lou, man. The Lou ain't nothing to play with. Let's put it that way.
Man, the Lou ain't nothing to play with all across the board, man. You know? But how you been, man? What's going on with you, BGS, man? What's happening?
I've been good, man. I've been good, man. Just dealing with a couple of haters here and there because they don't like to go down. They don't like to be wrong, okay? They don't take it well.
Man, the greatest thing in the world is to be wrong. You know why?
Why is that, sir?
So that you can learn what the fucking truth is, man.
Yep.
But niggas,
only a philosopher would say that, man. But you're right.
Only the obstinate and the ignorant would be so upset with being wrong. Yeah. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you misspoke, you misspoke. If you said something that was an error, you learned something.
Yeah.
If you were corrected by new information.
New information, yep.
That's what you should be considering to be your sublime blessing. That you learned what the truth was related to a specific matter. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's ideological, whether it's factual, whatever the case may be, man, you should learn from the mistake and feel blessed on the account that you learned from the mistake. Only the ignorant would double down on ignorance. That deserves a bomb, man.
It does. It does. But you know, I learned from I read with Carolyn Mace all the time about 30 years ago, and she said, "Don't strive to be right; strive to be accurate."
And that's all it is, man. You know, I hair split. You know, I like to dot I's and cross T's, and so you can call it what you want, man. But accuracy is of a premium, man. It's of prime importance.
It is, yeah.
You know, sometimes people, man, you know, they can't take that correction, though. It's like the Proverbs in the Bible, whether you're religious or not. There's an ethical lesson to be taught there, or a practical lesson. Namely that, you know, we're human beings and we're fallible, but we should strive to become better and to understand more, not to double down on, fuck you, you know, I'm mad at you because you corrected me. That's dumb. But anyway, having said all that, man, let's get into these shorts, man, because we ain't got much time. We got 45 minutes.
I see Culture Crack. Culture Crack is in the house, man. He's doing some pretty good bread tube type videos, man. You ought to check him out.
Culture Crack, what's cracking with you, man? I'm gonna have to check you out, my brother. But let me say this, man. Shout out to Hurricane Greg. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate that. Skating uphill tax. Shout out to High Scholar, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Chaos Rain. Shout out to Toya, man. How you doing, young lady?
Where's the apple there, Toya?
What's good with you, man? All-Star G, man. Shout out to him. Leon, man. Shout out to you, sir. Art of Ivmore Enraged. Shout out to you, sir. Ignatz Mouse. Big up, man. Excalibur. Big up. Mike Reeser said, this theme song. Shout out to Henderson Bencraft, man. He says, Gigi, you had us worried. Good to see you back on, man. Don't worry about Gigi, man. I mean, I know I've been absent a bit, but I got big things popping, little things stopping. Real talk, man. Things gonna get greater. Real talk. No one. What's good, man? That's the moniker given to Ulysses when he poked the eye out of the Cyclops. What's your name? No one. Who poked your eye out, bro? No one. Shout out to the black toxic masculines, man. Big up, man. But let's get on this, man, because we ain't got but like a short period of time to do it, man.
All right.
Many people accuse you of wanting to see the black woman at a point of submission. Is that where you want to see a black woman in the 1990s?
Well, it depends on how you define submission. Those words have a tendency to have a negative connotation for us because of how they were used against us during slavery and what we connect them to. But actually, the kind of submission that I'm referring to just means cooperation and agreement. I don't think that anybody could say that I represent a woman who is subjugated in any kind of way. I don't think that anybody could say that my personality sounds like some man has me somewhere crawling around on the ground or walking 10 paces behind him. So I'm not representing that. I'm representing strength. I'm saying that we have a lot of power. We have power to make heaven and hell for our men. And I'm saying, let's try making heaven. Let's try to build him up. If a man has his woman behind him, he will believe he can do anything. And all we need to do is to get our men to believe that they can do anything.
Okay, VGS, man. I'm gonna let you run with the first shot, man.
I mean, belief. The first part is good. Making your man believe that he can do anything, especially coming from a little boy, is powerful. But the thing is also you got to get in there and help him also. That's the other half. He can't do it by himself.
Look, they say, traditionally in Western culture, and let's face it, man, black people are a Western people. Okay?
Yeah, you are.
Just like the Jews back in the time of so-called Christ, okay, were Hellenized, meaning that they were influenced by Greco-Roman culture.
Yes.
Black people are basically indoctrinated into Western American culture. Okay, so
created by Western culture.
But the reason I say that is because you got a lot of men, black men, who are looking for helpmates, and when they, try to get that help, what they find out is that they're really actually getting gold diggers and exploiters and manipulators.
Overseers.
Oh, man. Good God. Overseers.
Overseers, what you get when you get a black woman.
Damn, man. Like, break that down. In what way? Because I think, like, black men, because we don't fit tidily and neatly into Western culture because we get targeted, the mediator between us and the white world are black women because they don't get targeted as much. They often have more privileged positions in the corporate world, in education, and they have a better experience with the criminal justice system. We're like, God damn. A lot of times these ladies offer us right up to the fucking system, man.
What did Neo find out about the black lady that was the Oracle, right? When he went through the door of light and talked to the white man, okay? Found out she's just an agent of control. She's working for him. She's our black women are an agent of control. They're not here to get us free us from the matrix. They're here to actually control us inside the matrix.
And if that's the case, man, we are deaf, dumb, and blind, man. Triple stage darkness.
Yeah.
Triple stage darkness, man.
Yeah, what we're told is not what it actually is.
And one of the things that people have to be aware of, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. It is absolutely absurd to assume that the internalization of one's own inferiority is only taken in and adopted by men in this culture. Okay, black men specifically is what I'm talking about. It's absurd to think that.
Mm-hmm.
To think that, because I'm the most depressed, that all of a sudden I have all of this epistemic information available to me to understand how to mitigate it, how to deal with it, how to contend with it in a substantive way. The assumptions to me are just absolutely absurd. But this is what we get.
Try to tell a Jewish woman her son ain't shit. See what happens.
Oh my God. Man, I had a woman say, man, I ain't gonna even go there, but the woman told me, babe, you know, it's the niggas ain't shit in a joking, laughing manner.
Yeah.
You know, like
Everybody knows, you know, so that's the joke.
until you need one.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas ain't shit till you need one.
People ain't shit when you need it.
And then after you need him, he perform dysfunction. He still ain't shit.
He's disposable then, yeah.
You know?
Black women love disposable men. You know that.
Good God. But that clip is a precursor to another clip, and here it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I am so willing to submit. Okay. I'm a very naturally submissive person, but I cannot submit to a man who just doesn't have it there together. So that's my problem. They tell me that
What does that mean? What does that mean?
you don't have stability. You don't have a home of your own. You have a roommate. Your brother lives in the next room. Okay, you living with your brother. Your bros are there.
These are men you've dated?
These are men that I have dated, yes.
You had a relationship with them?
Yes.
So you'll date a man, have sex with a man, but you don't submit to him.
I do, but I feel like
But why are you having sex with a man who doesn't have his shit together? You knew that before you did all that.
Break that down for us, BGS. I mean, we'll fuck you. We'll engage in relationships with you. We'll have children with you.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't listen to you. Because you ain't got your shit together.
That's just an excuse. You having your shit together has nothing to do with it. If that was the case, Jada Pinkett would be on her knees every night to Will, praising his holiness. Okay, that doesn't work that way.
You could be, man. Let me stop, man. I was about to say you could be Jesus.
You can be Barack Obama, Jesus himself, right? In the black world.
You could be you. I'm going further than you could be the Buddha.
in the black world, in the black American world, there's Barack Obama, there's Martin Luther King, and there's Jesus. Okay.
Just like that woman the other day, some lady who's on Wild and Out.
Yeah.
They basically said that Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't shit.
Yeah.
Because he cheated on his wife. You know, he fucked some other ladies or something like that.
Allegedly. Okay.
But black women, let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
How many of these kids are really actually the? How many men who are in these couplings, these relationships, are actually the father of the child?
Oh, if you believe the stats, maybe 6 out of 10.
So 40% ain't the daddy.
Yeah, if you believe the paternity rates, the paternity testing rates coming out of it is like 4 out of 10 tests are actually negative. So
man, but you gotta blame Jermaine. It ain't you fucking. It ain't y'all. It ain't the ladies that's fucking around. It's the men.
It doesn't matter when it comes to rule number 3. Go back to rule number 1, right? If anything else is in doubt, it's always Jermaine's fault.
Always Jermaine's fault, man.
I don't care what it is. Always Jermaine's fault.
I wouldn't have fucked that other dude if you was more of a man.
In fact, we were listening to Nick Cannon and Yana Van Zant, man, on Doc's show yesterday, right?
Right.
And now her mother had her by a married man.
Oh wow!
But it was her father's fault that he didn't take care of his seed. He didn't come see her. Never blamed her mother for not bringing her into this world properly.
He ain't come see me.
He didn't come see me. I didn't know who he was till I was almost 17.
Well, how the fuck he supposed to know who you was? Real talk. I mean, he smashed.
That was never explained.
How is he supposed to know that you were actually his?
That's true.
Because a lot of times the ladies, if they playing that game, the shell game of motherhood and paternity, how does the man supposed to know that's my baby? By looking at him? That's my baby right there. I smashed one time. Or, usually when you smash again several times, but there's a dalliance of, what Jada Pinkett would call an entanglement.
Entanglement, yes. It was actually a pretty good word, entanglement.
How many entanglements into it are you supposed to know that's my baby?
Yeah.
If she don't tell the truth from day one.
Yeah, she's already at a deficit because she's committing adultery with a married man.
Jesus Christ.
But it was never her mother's fault. It was his fault for not saving her.
Shout out to Leon, man. Big up to you, sir. He says, GG and BGS, stop talking about my mama. She loves me. But damn, if there was an overseer, Lord Jesus Christ would be And they have, excuse me, black women have patriarchal power over the family.
Yes, they do.
It is what it is.
Yes, they do.
They have patriarchal power over the family. They are the patriarch of the family.
They are.
So let's just get that shit straight, man. They run the family.
They do.
They are the Coach Belichick of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, there are no Tom Bradys of the family. And if you step out of line, you get out of bounds, you get penalized.
You will get checked, okay?
You will get checked. And the referees will come in. You know who they are.
I know who they are.
You know what I'm saying? They'll come in and put you in your proper place. They'll move they'll move those fucking those chains backwards. You laugh. There's a lot of truth to say it in jest, though.
Like, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's why I call it a gynocracy. People get mad when I say that.
They'll move those chains backwards. But motherfuckers will be like, I run this shit. I'm the man. I'm this. Okay. All right, man. Wait till them chains get moved back. But then you're supposed to be some sort of G for avoiding the chains in the first place, right? Oh, I had foresight. I knew. I saw. I like. You got powers of what? Predestination. Like you're like a future seer. That's what fucks me up about a lot of guys, man. I'm so alpha, I can see the future. I know that this woman, was not right, and she was gonna fuck everything I worked for up. So, because I'm a G, and they know not to fuck with me.
It only happened because I allowed it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Shout out to G Savage, man. Let me give him a little bomb, man. Says, hello, BGS and Green Gorilla. Been watching your content for a while. Black women have no respect for even the most prominent black men. A black Florida woman tried to burn down MLK's childhood home in Atlanta. I showed a video clip of that.
You did do that, yes.
And not only did a black woman try to burn his house down, a black woman stabbed MLK.
It was him.
How's that for respect? I'm trying to fight for the freedom of all of my people. Niggas ain't shit. Here come a dagger. Here comes a dagger.
What she said, you're evil, Martin. You're evil.
Let's go to the next clip because it's similar.
I find it interesting that women have such an issue with the tone, and you ladies don't seem to have the same issue with the woman's behavior first.
Us black women, we have the shitty end of the stick, okay? Whether it's because we induced it or because of our past, okay? And I feel that we are...
No, you don't. You don't. You don't.
Why would you say we don't?
Here's the simple thing. Talk to black men like you talk to your white boss. And that's all we need from you.
Uh-oh.
Talk to us. Excuse me. Listen. Process. Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
Black women know how to check all of that when their job is on the line. Talk to us like we're your white boss, and we got no more problems. Here's my retort to the tone conversation. approach me like you'd have to approach a white man you were trying to marry you.
Ooh.
Then we got no more problems.
Ooh. Ooh.
And introduce racial hypergamy here.
Insert. Yeah, you blew a lot of people's minds with that one, Doc.
Introduce racial hypergamy here.
Yes, sir.
And there are a lot of people who say, well, it doesn't really exist.
It's in the
Like Kaiser Soze. The usual suspects.
How did the devil, what's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled?
Is to basically try to convince people that he doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, yes.
And so this points to me to the vulnerability that black men are in, that they refuse to acknowledge that exists themselves. And they want to like alpha their way through it. John Henry their way through this shit.
Yep.
Instead of looking at the factual conditions under which they exist. And then you'll hear a lot of talk about these niggas, they brought it on themselves. Really? Okay. All right. If that's what you want, you want to believe, you choose to believe that, then my question is like, well, why are you even here? You trying to, give pep talks to Negroes in the black manosphere? All you gotta do is believe in yourself. It's like the fucking law of attraction to me. It's like The Secret.
The Secret is, yeah. Even though they don't understand it. Okay, you have to be that already to attract what you want. Yeah.
I'll say this, there's a lot of anti-intellectualism in this space. And also, there is a lot of compromising with white aspirationalism in this space. And negotiating that whiteness in order to demonstrate that they are suitable for class advancement.
Yeah.
I said it. I mean it.
Yeah, maybe you come from that world, man. You see it all the time.
You sound just like these, man, look. Sound just like these crackers out here, man. A lot of you. I'm just being honest, man. And it's a lot of daffy dancing going on. A lot of daffy dancing. I'm just being honest. And ignore that watch party link, by the way, because I didn't put the new one into the stream element. So I'm going to put the link in towards the latter half or the latter portion of this show. But it's a lot of daffy dancing and negotiating with your own placement in the white world and the extent to which you're able to gain some sort of foothold in it. That's some sort of demonstration of your manhood. And that's the way that we talk to each other. We talk down to each other in consideration of our placement, our projection into success in their system.
Yep.
I see it all the time. Okay. But peep out who used to be, who in the past would have been considered a person who would have been at the top of the food chain as it pertains to the black intelligentsia.
Okay.
In the academy. And listened to seriously, but now perceived as a hotel.
A black woman told me that if she was walking down the street late at night and someone was walking toward her, the person she would feel most comfortable walking toward her first would be a what? Can anybody know? Does anybody know? She said a black woman first.
Yep.
Then a white woman. You know what she said third? A European male. And the person she said she would feel least comfortable walking toward her late at night would be a black man.
Now that deserves a bomb. King Kong smash. Now tell me if that's not racial hypergamy at work, bro.
That is. That's a hierarchy at work.
This used to be the exemplar of what a black studies scholar would have been in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the early 90s. Now, the black studies departments are all aspirationalist, assimilationist, and intersectionalist and queer.
That's why they changed the name to Africana.
I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's the facts, bro.
It's been homogenized. That's why they changed the name.
Now they throwing black, progress as the safety and security of the black queer person. I'm just being honest about this, man. I'm not even hating on queer persons, but you got to think. The queer people of the past, Bayard Rustin,
mm-hmm.
James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Now who we got? What's the Billy Porter?
Billy Porter.
What the fuck, man?
Billy Porter.
Sitting close at the lap of, it's like you're a lap dog to white folks and shit.
RuPaul,
You offering that up as the model. Like the exemplar of what a black progressive person is. And at some point, what I want to do, and when I start to finally do my pre-recordeds and show my face and sit in my background, like so many people on YouTube do, and do my video essays, I want to do a video essay of how radical and nationalistic the faculty members of black studies programs were at the inception of those programs, and how they've morphed and transformed into something totally unrecognizable from what they were.
Yeah, when your lead Africana studies groups come out of Harvard instead of HBCU, there's a problem.
Look, Frances Cress Welsing, can't even say her fucking name right now. You can't even say, hey, look, I swear to God, bro, I was an adjunct at a university, and I mentioned Frances Cress Welsing.
Ooh.
And the fucking chair of the department said, shh, shh.
I mean, really?
Bruh, you think I'm fucking playing?
I think you're playing, man.
Bruh, you think I'm fucking playing, man. I swear to God. Shh.
My goodness. White folks gonna hear you.
Not just white folks, but other faculty members who considered the viewpoint, and that woman was a psychiatrist at Howard University.
Oh my, you gotta be kidding.
Shh. Can't really talk about that too much. You can't really say too much about that. But in a practical sense, I understood why that individual had that kind of disposition. It was precisely because on a consistent basis, his job would have been, on the chopping block. So this guy basically has to contend with these ideals and these norms and these value systems that are pervasive contemporarily in the academy, to where it's like, well, you can't be saying shit about Frances Cress Welsing. You can't be talking about that kind of shit. Because she was a supporter of Neely Fuller. And basically what Neely Fuller was articulating was that, like, the Western world is trying to emasculate black men and turn them into women. And make them fuckable. And this all points to, even James Baldwin had conversations about how violence directed towards black men by white men was homoerotic. Even Dr. Curry talks about the homoerotic fixation that white men have on black men, and how when they are enacting violence on them, they often enact sexual violence on them.
They do. That's why the prisons are so rampant with that kind of stuff.
We're
Especially,
gonna fuck you.
yeah, the guards actually encourage that kind of behavior.
We gonna watch you get fucked in the ass. Sorry, I know this is gonna make this video like something that's probably gonna be shadow banned.
Yeah, they're demonetized. Yeah,
but it's the truth. It's the truth. Shout out to Brandon Gamble, man. He says white aspirationalism. That was good stuff, man.
Well, that's what we call the myth of white womanhood, and the white women, black women are not the only people that actually practice it.
Let me give a shout out to Leon again, man. He says, the moment I pull on progressive shit and tell those women say her name, them who? I showed them the book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors.
Mm-hmm. It's like showing a vampire a cross, okay?
Look, let me just say this. I'm not going to, make generalizations about what happens sexually to people in prison. However, I will say this. It all depends on, like, if you're in a state or a federal institution. There's not much sexual shenanigans going on in lower level prisons in the federal system.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to state or municipal based penal institutions, well, I'm not going to say anything much more beyond that. Okay. Do black men in some sense, take weaker white guys and do that kind of shit? Of course that happens. But typically though, if it all depends on where you are in prison, because there aren't too many, like, there are white gangs in prison, man. The Aryan Brotherhood ain't nothing to fuck with, dog.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
Hispanic gangs ain't shit to fuck with either.
Not anymore.
And if you're trying to take one of what they consider to be their kind and to feminize them, bruh, it's gonna be war. And when you get to war in a situation like that, it ain't just a bang them out. It's a fight to the death, man.
It definitely is.
It's a fight to the death, bruh. This ain't no, we gonna settle our differences like men and gentlemen. No, bruh. This is like, I'm running this shit. And if you trying to put one of ours in a subservient position, it's death to you, sir.
It sure will. Sure will be. There's rules. Believe it or
So
not.
I'm just letting you know. I mean, not to say that there isn't any consensual gay shit going on in prison, but the point I'm trying to make is that, James Baldwin, even though he was gay, he still had in view the progress and the betterment of the entirety of the black race, not just some sort of, capitulation to identity politics and demanding, that like certain segments of the black population understand that they need to be obsequious and toady and contrite and to grovel and to beg for forgiveness and all this shit.
I'm a black man first.
The same with Bayard Rustin. And they was getting it in. If it was some getting down in the DMs back then, they was doing it. Okay? But today, they would be considered, I would say, SGL instead of queer. They would be considered same gender loving and be more, compatible with that kind of viewpoint as opposed to this queer, contemporary queer ideal that's put out there in the academy and elsewhere. Okay? So shout out to the bros, man. What's up, man? Rude to you, Rude. Rude to this brother. Art Nuster, man. I ain't seen you in a minute, dog. Shout out to David White. He says for another truth, man. Shout out to you, sir. Appreciate you. Shout out to Ghetto User, man. How you, bro? Appreciate that, man. But let's move to the next one.
Most women want daddies, not husbands. So many women on this app love to preach that men only want mommies. A lot of women on this app will say that they want a man to pay all of their bills. They want them to show up emotionally. They want them to show up 24/7. They want them to give them princess treatment. They want to be treated like gold, essentially like their dad would treat them if they have good fathers. They want the men in their lives to fix all of their be their caretaker, on top of all of the things that men are already responsible for. Now these women are crying about domestic labor, so they want the men to also do all of the laundry, do most of the cooking, while simultaneously working 60 hours. And most of the time, that's still not good enough.
You see, I told you. I kept saying it. Men want their wives to be like mothers, and women want their husbands to be like fathers. I've been saying this, but I'm crazy.
That's true.
Personally, all I can say is, man, it's a little bit different in our community to a certain extent, because even if you are providing all of that shit as a black man, you're still not bound to get any fucking respect whatsoever, man.
That is true.
Okay? But overall, you got a bunch of women who are demanding that men show up and appear in their lives in the same manner that their fathers would.
Mm-hmm.
Treat me like a princess, adore me, worship the ground I walk on, protect and provide for me always. Okay, well, that's cool. If you match up to your part of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, she's showing you this white woman. Now, this is a white lady. Basically saying these white women, because, I'm assuming she's only speaking from her own racial or ethnic perspective.
I hope so.
What the fuck are these ladies? They're demanding that men act like women. Or do women's work and provide, protect, and uphold the traditional contract associated between men and women, where men do certain or perform certain gender role actions, but take on more responsibility for the shit that they also are supposed to be doing themselves.
They don't want any responsibility as children. But children, even children have a certain amount of responsibility.
Man, you got to go clean that room up.
Yeah.
You got to go mop that floor.
Yeah.
You got to go wash those dishes.
Yeah. You got to go to school. You got to do your homework. You got to do all that kind of stuff. Okay. There's duties that children have that's commensurate with their age.
Man, Scuba said, my chick works at a food place and I get free food.
That's a benefit. What can I say?
Hey, man, that's a benefit.
That's a benefit.
He says, is that the reason for sexless marriages? Because these women see the man as their dad? No, I think sexless marriages are basically women deciding that, I'm not attracted to this man anymore.
Right.
Because to me, submission requires, quite frankly, opening up your legs to a man.
Yeah.
What other form of submission is there other than submitting, opening the legs?
Yeah, well, wives used to see sex as a duty to her husband. They don't see that anymore. They see that as a choice. And a lot of women marry guys that they're not attracted to.
This is my view. Maybe I'm wrong, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When if you're a woman and you open your legs to a man, you're submitting your reproduction to him.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're making sure he's wrapping it up and you're on birth control, you're still giving this man in a natural sense. So what the natural law would consider to be the most prized possession that you have.
Right.
It doesn't matter if the man is rich or poor, if he's smart or dumb, athletic or awkward, ambitious or lazy. If you're fucking him, you're submitting your reproductive access to him.
Mm-hmm.
You must see something in this man's nature for whatever reason that you like in him enough to project your futurity into him and that relationship.
Yep.
Now, I think the biggest thing we're dealing with when it comes to contemporary women is the phenomena of FOMO. FOMO is an acronym for fear of missing out. Okay. And I say that FOMO, the fear of missing out, is attached to a Cinderella fantasy in which women, imagine that there's a perfect man out there.
My soulmate.
One fitting their nature that will come and do all of what these white women say that a man should do. He'll come, he'll dump resources and wealth at their feet and give them a soft life. But this is delusional. It's delusional. And instead of demanding a system that ensures that everyone, whether they're male or female, have access to basic needs and more.
Right.
We have women that are basically expecting for men to provide some shit for them outside of the context of the contemporary system and institutions that exist in nation states. And I don't understand it. We don't live in fucking hunter-gatherer groups anymore.
And that's the problem. We don't. So they've forgotten what marriage and that kind of coupling is for.
We don't live in a Hobbesian state of nature. We live in a contemporary nation state in which women have demanded that they get the same kind of access to positions and resources, whether it be jobs, schooling, whatever the case may be, as men. But you still want all of this provision and protection. I just, it's fucking schizophrenic.
It's unrealistic. It's delusional.
It's schizophrenic.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because women as a whole have demanded, they have basically required the state to treat them in a particular kind of way. But they still, and this is why the phenomenon of Kevin Samuels is so fascinating to me. You still have women who are demanding that men do this shit for them. But at the same time, throwing off the yoke of patriarchy. I don't want to be subjected to the patriarchy. You do, but you don't. You want specific aspects of the patriarchy that benefit you to come to you. But you don't want other aspects or sides of patriarchy that you consider to be regressive.
I want to be the queen where I rule.
Man.
And they want to be overseers, basically. They don't want daddies. They want serfs.
ConcuSerfs.
ConcuSerfs.
Shout out to Dr. Tia San, man. Shout out to Dr. Tia San, man. Let's go to the next one, though, man, because we got like 5 minutes. We can go over a little bit.
George Carlin nailed it back in 2005, and it's still true today.
The owners of the country they got their election. They said, we're going to get this election. We put you people in that court for a reason.
All right,
now's
back
the time
to
pay
earth
us.
for you now.
Forget all that stupid. Will you?
What I challenge is the idea that there's some kind of conspiracy about
now
this.
I get to talk.
We don't.
You don't need a formal conspiracy. Right. When interests converge, these people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're in the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information things. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right.
Yep. That's what the architect says. The illusion of choice.
And the illusion of choice is predicated upon your ability to buy things. Your freedom is contextualized in your ability to be a consumer. That's where your choice really actually lies. And I've covered this before. I don't have really a lot of time to cover it now, but your choice is predicated upon your ability to go to a store, a mall, a grocery store, a gas station, and to pick out products. And that's the illusion of what your choice is situated in. Your choice is based upon what you can buy, okay? Not on your practical and substantive ability to decision make. You're not deciding what products exist in the supermarket or what stores you can enter into a mall. There's marketers and there are accountants and advertisers who are trying to tell you, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy that, buy that, buy this. And the political process becomes a facsimile of the market. Okay? But at the end of the day, there's like George Carlin said, there's only two parties.
Yep.
Where's the choice in that shit, man?
Yep. You see it at work right now, right?
Where's the choice in that? Shout out to Dr. Thunder, man. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. I ain't seen you in a minute, bro. What's cracking with you, bro?
What's up, Doc?
Shout out to Dr. Thunder, man.
Blow, Doc, blow. Y'all have to do a set together one day.
Man, we need to do a set on music, man. That's what we need to do.
That's what I'm talking about.
We need to talk about music pervasively. But shout out to Yokohama, man. Benevolent patriarchy, he says. Look, there are benevolent aspects to patriarchy.
Yes.
There always have been benevolent aspects to patriarchy. And in fact, I just watched a video the other day that basically asserted that patriarchy in and of itself is a fabrication of women. They demand it. You see it over and over. That's why the Kevin Samuels phenomenon is fascinating, because you have hook, line, and sinker in a wholesale fashion, women demanding the patriarchy or the aspects that they find appealing to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're taking advantage of where they can take advantage.
I want this man to do this for me, to sacrifice for me, to work and toil in my behalf, and to create security for me. I want that type of man. And the man I fucked and had children with, he didn't seem to be living up to that capacity. And so therefore, I'm going to, based on FOMO, consider other potential and possibilities.
Mm-hmm. The contract is up. Okay.
But Kevin Samuels would often say, what the fuck is wrong with the guy you were with? What's wrong with the guy you were with? Shout out to him, Mississippi Delta guy. I'm going to give you honors, man, on GP, because I fuck with you like that. I'm going to give you honors, man, on GP.
Down from the M.I. Crooked letter I. Crooked letter I. Humpback guy. Said, bitch, I'm a demon, just look at my eyes. You don't wanna die. Chopper gon' blow in this motherfucker fire. I told my nigga, let's go and let's ride. Nigga won't play and that motherfucker died. That motherfucker died. Cause I'm from the M.I. Crooked letter I. Crooked letter I. Humpback guy. Said, bitch, I'm a demon, just look at my eyes. Say, I'm down the ride. Chopper gon' blow in this motherfucker fire. Pussy, you play, motherfucker, you die. That's on the gang and that's on the gas. Pussy, you play, watch that motherfucker ride.
Shout out to Mississippi Delta guy. I rock with you, dog. So anyway, I'm sorry for being, long-winded, but and then also shout out to Leonard Richardson who hit me up on the Cash App. Appreciate that, bro. It's the weirdest shit, and then men are trying to find ways in order to deal with this schizophrenic shit, and as they do so, all they get told is that, especially by people like the FD guy, right? Like, you're not doing the work. You're not doing the work. Like, what the fuck is the work, man? You got women demanding that you act like a traditional patriarch, and then also as somebody who's taking on more duties, more feminine duties, but they're supposed to like discard in a wholesale fashion the whole conceptualization of patriarchy. How the fuck is that supposed to work? Like, what does doing the work actually mean? I want to do a video about doing the work according to progressives nowadays. Like, what the fuck does that actually mean? How is it possible for you to do the work? What work are you talking about? Because to me, all it amounts to is to a vacuous demand that people accept a moral position. I'm wrong. I'm sorry for being wrong. It's like guilting people. Like the same shit that like the philosophy of, I ain't gonna say all of the philosophy of race scholars are like this, but there's a good portion of them who want white people to see that they have privilege and to have them acknowledge it and to what? All of a sudden start like washing black people's feet and shit. That's not going to change systems and institutions. A bunch of, people walking around performing guilt and shit like that. Let me stop, man. Let me go to the next one, bro.
Welfare reminds me of an old man I used to date. I was in a relationship with him for 11 years. He would never marry me, right? But whenever my bills were due, I would tell him he would give me just enough. He had a whole lot of money. He would give me just enough. Rent due, $1,200. He'd give me $1,200, not 1 cent over, because he knew that every month the rent was due, that I would have to come back to him. He wouldn't give me $100,000 and say, here, baby, bump that, go buy you a house and start you a business, because then he felt like I wouldn't need him. The government system is the same way when it comes to Black Americans. They'll never give us enough to get over and get up. It's only enough to make sure we continue to come back every 30 days so that we can remain slaves to their system.
I'm going to give you that one, BG.
100%. Basically, what the new baby daddy is Uncle Sam, right?
Yes, sir.
That's her new man. The Leviathan has become the new man to black women and also white women now. They have replaced the father in the house, or the man in the house, with the government.
And the issue I have with, I did a video a long time ago about the welfare state, and I talked about thugs and welfare queens. I think that one of the ways in which black people were subjugated was, for men, they gave them incarceration and punishment in a corporal retributive sense, and they indoctrinated and controlled paternalistically black women through the welfare state. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you enough to get by, just to get by, to get by. But we're not rocking with you. We're not going to enfranchise you. No. And that's why I said they gave white folks FHA loans. This is why I showed that MLK clip where he talked about all the subsidies white people got from the state, right, like the Homestead Act, land grant colleges, FHA loans. And none of them motherfuckers said a thing about how fucked up the government was when they was getting that shit. But as soon as you get something, even something that really does nothing more than put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, the first thing they do is they castigate and they issue invectives about how lazy you are.
Right.
About how, you're indolent, you lack initiative, you just want to be on the dime. But when they get shit, You ever seen a white person say, oh, I'm not taking that Homestead Act, I want to get it on my own? Fuck no. Farmers who get subsidies for not farming, they don't say, I ain't taking that. Mm. They take that.
They do.
Whatever they get, you see white women like, I don't want affirmative action. You actually do, dumbass motherfuckers.
Oh, yes, they do. Try to take it away. The DEI that they're protesting because it's getting taken away.
They want racial DEI to go away. They don't want sexual DEI to go away. Because this is why, like as scholars, we talk about like the work of Curry, because what Curry basically asserts is that feminism from its inception was predicated upon the scientific notions of its day. Okay, ethnology. And ethnology was like the study of the differences between races and their capacities to be successful as members of the human species of their kind. And it was connected to colonialism and imperialism. And the idea, behind white women being free was not necessarily a male versus female thing. It was to shore up and to ensure that the futurity of the white race would persist. I mean, and to be in a dominant position. And their arguments would just basically like, well, look, why are you going to give Negroes and Chinamans and Irish and Dutch immigrants the powers to rule? We should have them. Your perfect Anglo white women, we should have it because it will preserve the sanctity and the purity of our species, our race, our kind. Those were the kind of ideas that permeated the suffrage movement. Not some idea about men versus women, gender war bullshit. It was all predicated upon racial ideology. But, we don't like to study shit. We don't like to,
Yeah.
We just, we want to move with where we are and think that, because we are where we are, we got some sort of supreme understanding. Shout out to G Savage again. Let me give him a bomb. He says, Sir, GG, or BGS, please cover the emergence of the idea of nonconformity through the works of Alred Kinsley, the father of the sexual revolution. Hey, man, it might, I might take that task on, man.
That's the task for you, sir.
Yeah, I might take that task on, sir. Okay. But, one thing that you got to be mindful of is that the scramble over the new continent, the new world, was basically played out by Europeans. The principal players were the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Dutch, and Anglo-Saxons. Okay? And they killed each other to kill us, or to put us in slavery, or to kill the Native Americans so that they could colonize the landmass. And they did it.
Yeah.
They did it. Okay? And different people have different narratives about what it was that occurred and how it happened and so on and so forth. But the reality is they're not of one accord, but through the process of colonizing the new world, they created the science of ethnology and they created the concept of white supremacy, the practice of it. Okay? It's a fact. This is just what it is. This is descriptive, not normative. Okay? So it's just important to understand the processes that have led up to the point at which we are now. Okay? And so do they love each other? I mean, come on, man. They're human beings. They're susceptible to vice just like anybody else. But what they did was they created an ideology that enabled them to create in-groups and out-groups. And it just so happens that you're a member of the out-group related to the system that they have developed and produced.
Yeah.
It is what it is, bro.
It's just your turn. That's all.
So let's go through the last clip.
Yes.
It's a relatively short one. Want to hear it? Here it go.
Migrants are homeless people.
Like, how are we allowed to have a foreign policy when we are violating the policies here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean the immigrants are getting a check and we're putting them up in places that what? You mean in the homeless people's face?
Right in the homeless people's faces.
Like,
right?
Let us show you what we could have done.
Right.
That's not okay as a society.
Ooh, okay. That is a complex topic.
It's complex, but it's simple. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In America, black people are disproportionately poor.
Mm-hmm.
Black men in particular make up the bulk of people who are homeless in America.
Uh-huh.
In order to rectify the situation of the homeless in America, it would mean attending to what white culture considers to be the abject, the other, the ultimate form of alterity, the nigger, the black male nigger. Okay? And at all costs, they'll do anything not to help him. They'll help anybody before they'll help him. Because, of course, connected.
He's in his place. That's the place he's supposed to be at, according to this society. He's the floor that they walk on.
Exactly. And there have always been, in terms of the United States is a little bit different because of, the institution of the one drop rule. But that's never really actually been the absolute practice because people who are lighter skinned, like colorism actually is a thing. Okay. It is.
Yeah.
And we can't deny that. So the closer you are to whiteness in either phenotype or practice in terms of your habits, your practices, the way you navigate the world, the bigger chance you have, the greater chance you have of being successful. Okay. Barring, one of them motherfuckers hating the shit out of you and trying to fuck you over. But I mean, if you're like a light-skinned woman or man, more opportunities will avail themselves to you in this system than if you are, some.
Yeah, it's all part of racial hypergamy. Okay, who's the top dog? What color's the top dog? Okay,
precisely, and so colorism is a thing. Okay, but this is part of progressive politics. The idea that immigration is wrong. I mean, all of this is taking place at an abstract level. Okay, to some degree, do I think that immigrants being denied entry? I think borders should be more porous than they are. I think the borders in and of themselves are artificial lines drawn into geography that creates categories of us versus them. And this is me being idealistic. I'm an advocate of what is called big history. Go look the shit up. There are videos associated with it called Big History. Just go check it out. And I think that our provincial and parochial understanding of history puts us at odds with each other, whether it's racially, sexually, gender-based. I think, look, man, we're all interconnected. We're all part of a gigantic family, but because we're too fucking stupid and act like monkeys, we can't see it. That's my view. I think that we only have one Earth. It ain't gonna, this experience that we're having is a beautiful one, but we often are so nasty to each other over the most superficial shit. We can't get it together. This is why I say we already know, as people who study race, or at least people who I consider to be my colleagues who study race, we understand that it's really actually something that is fabricated. It's a construction. Yes, populations, more or less, if we talk about populations, they do have different genetic characteristics and so on. But this idea of race, it's ridiculous, really. Now, do I think that it's for practical reasons we should acknowledge the importance of race? Yes, I do. I'm not a colorblind advocate. It's not what I am. However, I will say, dude, we live on a planet that's 4 billion years old. We live in a universe that was basically produced by a humongous fucking explosion and expansion of metaphysical proportions we can't even begin to comprehend except through science. 3.8 to 9 billion years ago. Okay. We're made up of the stuff of stars. We have more in common, like the genetic encodation that creates our races in terms of our phenotype, or a fucking fraction of the totality of the DNA structures that make us who we are, and that basically demonstrate how similar we are. But because, and even if you study archaeology and migrations and shit like this and geography, most of the populations, man, like for example, Europe and China, are bottleneck populations that emerged out of Africa thousands of years ago. Okay, so like, what are we doing, man? We just love to, we have to create in groups and out groups.
We do, yeah. We do.
Because we are, that primitive aspect of who we are was so, it was so much of who our existence was basically centered around that we have a hard time excising it. The vestiges of our primal beginnings have not been shed.
Yeah, one termite hill versus the other termite hill.
So do I believe that, like, at some point we need to I think at heart BGS is this way. I mean, he thinks that like eventually all of these categories will be expelled.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah.
But those stubborn and nasty vestiges of our primitive nature persist, and the tribalism, like Had Asshole is basically talking about, that tribalism is something that's very difficult for us to get rid of.
It's part of who we are.
And that's the reason why you can have motherfuckers in Philadelphia, you can have cheeseheads fighting Pittsburgh Steelers in a stadium and taking it seriously. Like, this is a fucking sporting event, dude. But they're fighting each other over some stupid shit like a football game.
No, or color. A color at a rag in your back pocket.
Or like a part of town that you're from.
Or part of town that you're from. Yep.
And so, you know, this is the folly of human existence and practice. This, you know, our inability to excise our, you know, proclivity to create in and out groups. There's a philosopher, man, Alfred Schultz. Read his shit, bro. He's Alfred Schultz. I'm gonna dig through my digital files and see if I can find some work on Alfred Schultz.
Okay.
But he talks about how human beings have this proclivity to create in and out groups.
Okay.
And you know, and once you other somebody, you dehumanize them to such an extent that you can create, or that you could perpetrate, that's the better term, atrocities against them, because you objectify them.
You see what's going on right now in two parts of the world.
The Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the Russian shit.
And Ukraine. And those were one people at one time for about 800 years. For really 800 or 900 years. They're one people.
They're the same stock of people genetically, culturally.
Yeah.
And at the current moment, you know, there's an ideological split between them about like what trajectory our country is going to take. Socialist Soviet style versus capitalistic Anglo style. And you know, at the end of the day, man, we already know the detriments to both of those.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not saying that Soviet style was just like the supreme, you know, I mean, Stalin committed atrocities. Okay?
So, yeah, well, the people on the other side committed even more. So,
yeah,
even more.
You know, the human ability to create atrocities inside of the ideological bubbles. You know, it's not something that just accrues to one person or one group of people. It exists across the board. So I like to deal with description and fact, as opposed to ideology and idealism. I like Plato, but I'm not Platonic. Okay? Blato's fucked up for a whole bunch of reasons. I won't even go into that. But I do want to make a fucking video essay about it. Like, there's much more that I could do with the format of a video essay that I can't do in lives.
Yes.
But having said all that, man, we're not going to switch over to Patreon, and we're going to watch episode 2 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm inviting you now for free to come check the shit out.
For a limited time only, okay?
Yeah, for a limited time. Trust me, man, I got to get my shit together to the point where I can do these video essays. It's not going to be that much longer when I have it together. Okay. But when I do it, I want it to be of a quality similar to that offered up by others on digital media, social media. If I'm coming out, I'm coming out swinging. Okay, I ain't going to come out fucking around and playing games. I'm coming out like, look, motherfucker, I deserve to be here.
You got to come out like the barbarian storming, huh?
Man, I'm storming the beaches of Normandy. Okay, Pearl Harbor type shit. And no disrespect, I think there's too much sophomore shit going on in social media, and somebody has to come along as a teacher and start smacking motherfuckers on the wrist with rulers. I'm just being honest.
When you let the rabble take over the courtyard, what's going to happen?
You get a bunch of rabble rousing. And not to say that there's nothing of value in people, espousing their viewpoints, but like you have to move from first order reflection to second and third order reflection. Okay. And I don't think that that's occurring in contemporary social media spaces. I think that like people who are like on the fringes of being experts or basically espousing the viewpoints of like, I don't know, anthologies and shit like that. Like, like secondary literature on shit without probing into it and examining it in a critical way. And I don't, shit, if I'm going to do some scholarly investigation, I'm going to be critical. That's just how I'm going. That's just how I do it, man. So, anyway, man, we going over to Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Patreon, man. Feel free to join.
Yeah, hit the link and come on over.
Yeah, I'm hitting the StreamYard now. That's where we gonna be. Holla at us, man.
All right.
I'll holla at y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed day. And be peaceful, man. 1.